battlefield. I'm gonna stay on the battlefield until I die. Oh Lord, oh Lord, listen. I'm gonna treat everybody right. Oh, I'm gonna treat everybody right. I'm going to treat everybody right until I die. Yeah, I'm gonna treat everybody right. I'm gonna treat everybody right. I'm gonna treat everybody right until I die. Oh Lord, oh Lord, help me find trust. Till I die, yeah, yeah. In the Lord, 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 it's gonna be all right. Yeah. In the Lord, in the Lord. You that's trusting in the Lord, just wave your hand. In the Lord, you got to hang on in there anyhow. Can I get a witness in here? In the Lord, wait a minute. In the Lord, bring it down one more time. In the Lord, wait a minute.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon. Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Right. Ask Well, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Ask Elaine. It is so beautiful, so nice outside, but for those of us who are allergy sufferers, it's not quite so good, but I'm not going to complain. I am not going to because you have to take the positives, and if they outweigh the negatives, then you say thank you. Thank you. You always give thanks. Um, you've tuned in to Ask Elaine. It's Wednesday, it's 3 o'clock, and you're right in place. If you are listening on AM or FM, welcome. If you're on Facebook Live, the Glory Live, welcome. We're just so happy to have you there. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to another edition of Ask Elaine. This is your talk and information program, and we know that once you leave us today at 4, you will have learned something, and that's our goal every week for you to be better informed because we are providing this information to you. We want to welcome Ricky Crawford, who's joined us on live. Harriet Taylor is here today, and we want all of you to press like and share so that you'll remind other folks that we are on and that we've got some important things to share with them. We're expecting some folks to call in with some information. One in particular is about Mount Vernon Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin. We want to share with you some information concerning some things that are going to be going on at that church. But first, we have with us none other than Mr. Eddie White, who is associated with A. Philip Randolph Institute, and he has a very, very important activity, event that's going to be taking place. And he's going to tell you all about it. And for those of you who have just tuned in, or you please, would you tell somebody? Let somebody know that this program is on the air because we've got some very, very important and useful, beneficial information for you. Um, Happy Black History Month. It's gone now. Yesterday was the last day. We get that short month, but we encourage you to please continue celebrating Black history. Make some Black history yourself by doing something that's good for this community. You can continue our legacy of good trouble. We want to welcome Overseer Mabel Randall to the program, Ms. Myra to the program, and all the others who have joined us. If you want to call in, our number is 478-250-1444, and we would be glad to hear your comments, your questions. We should have Patrick on. He is the person who keeps up with our stats and our research information, and we look to have him there. And those of you who tune in live, you are um, privileged to get that additional information that he shares with us. Ms. Maria Bryant with the NAACP has joined us. Good afternoon to you. Maria and a number of other people joined me, Mr. White, yesterday at 5:30 at a meeting of the Macon Transit Authority. Um, there's some shenanigans going on, Macon Transit Authority, and we understand from the NAACP that there's some shenanigans, some wrongdoing, some unfair treatment that's going on of folks who are associated with Macon Housing Authority, and so we're going to be talking about that. As a matter of fact, those of you, once we finish the program today, we hope that we've provided enough information that you're upset about a proposed fare increase. As bad as things are, and as little money as people are making, and with the minimum wage here, what is it, 7.25? That's the federal minimum wage, but the Georgia minimum wage is 5.15. With all of that that's going on, food prices, they're cutting the SNAP benefits to families, quality of life type things, and for Macon Transit to meet and to vote to increase the fares on folks who are already struggling, trying to get to work or wherever it is. We're going to share some statistics with you on some things in this community that you need to know about. Because maybe you thought you knew about it, maybe you kind of figured, you had a feeling, but we're going to share this information with you today. We have Wade Horton. Um, and Wade was with us in that Macon Transit Authority meeting um, on yesterday as well. And he shared some information and asked them not to increase the fares. So, Wade, thank you so much. Wade says that our Facebook stream is going in and out. I know our folks will fix that. Patrick has shared a post here on Macon Transit Authority so that you can go to that if you like. We don't want to just give you information. We want to have you to have information, and then you can do more research later on. That's why we have Patrick to share all of this. He also has where the Macon Transit Authority is promoting veterans programs. They can ride forever, and that's a wonderful thing. Right. That certain categories of veterans can ride free. We understand in the past that there were certain students of a particular university here who were provided transportation, late night transportation back to campus, and all of that's great. All of that's great.
I agree.
But those folks who depend on public transportation, who have all of these other things working against them, plus institutional racism to deal with, they cannot afford to absorb additional fare increases. And so we're going to be talking about that. Dr. Mary Butler has joined us, and good afternoon uh, to you as well. It's good to have you to be a part of this show today. And we hope that our engineer has been able to correct what's going on. It's not you, Mr. Engineer, it's me. It's me. I didn't touch anything. Okay. All right. Laura Stanley has joined us. Good afternoon to you. And good afternoon, Patrick. Um, um, Wade is waiting. Is what? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. We're going to go ahead and talk with Mr. White concerning this initiative that he is a part of. And so, if you would just get close to that mic there, and if you will share with us a little bit about yourself. First of all, because we like people to know if they don't know you, we like you to introduce yourself to them. Tell them a little bit about yourself, and then go into some details about the activity that you're going to be a part of and that you're welcoming citizens who need this service to take part in.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eddie White, born and raised in Macon, East Macon. Proud graduate of Northeast High School, class of 72. Go Raiders.
Uh-huh.
So yes, I'm just so excited for the opportunity to come back on the show again to share this good news about what's going on March the 4th, 325 Pursley Street, L.H. Williams School, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We'll be there. However, I'd like to, if okay, to talk about some of the sponsors.
Yes.
We have there, right, is that United Way of Central Georgia's Community School United organizer,
All right.
Dr. Sandra Wooford.
Uh-huh.
We have the Solicitor General's office, Rebecca Gris,
Mm-hmm.
District Attorney's office, Anita Howard.
Of
We
course.
got Black Voters Matter in the House.
Of
We got
course.
Helping Others Foundation of Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
Kim White. We got Middle Georgia Justice, Judge Bill Adams, and we got Georgia Justice.
Uh-huh.
And those organizations has partnered together to make this event possible. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we have people that on our side that want to see things happen in the community for the betterment of our people.
Okay. So tell us what the event is.
Okay, it is a expungement clinic. If you have any misdemeanors, some felony charges, if they happen in Peach County, Crawford County, or either Bibb County, you're welcome. I have a code here. You can scan it, and then you can just fill out. It's about 10 questions. Fill out the 10 questions. You should receive a email letting you know that it was successfully submitted. Even if you don't, if you come out on the spot on Saturday at LH Williams between the hours of 10 and 2, they'll take you on the spot. They'll work
Okay.
with you. They're willing to try to make a difference in your life, stop you from getting a job. Anyone ever applied for a job, couldn't get it, had something on their record?
Right.
Even if you can do that. Want to vote? Probably apply for housing.
Uh-huh.
You never know. You
Yeah.
got a felony, you can't get housing. So that might stop you from getting housing. But we're saying, come on out. We're going to have food. We're going to have a DJ there. They got a playground accessible for your children. So you can come out while you're on the inside taking care of business. Your kids can eat. They can dance. We're going to be dancing. You know, we
Oh
love to
yeah.
dance,
Yeah.
everything. And so we just want to have a good time, make it a good time. And so,
Okay. This is an
Yes, ma'am.
expungement clinic. And those we want to thank those sponsors as well. The folks who feel like it's important to free people. To
yes,
free people from stuff that's been hanging around your neck for years and years and years. You're scared to death to do this, scared to do that. You're kept from getting this, getting into that because you've got these charges, these cases hanging around your neck. This is an opportunity for you to get your life in order. It's
Yes.
called an expungement clinic,
yes, ma'am.
and it's sponsored by those different organizations. Mr. Eddie White is here today, and he's inviting you to come by LH Williams on Saturday
Yes, ma'am.
from 10 until
Two.
2. And you have food, music, people getting together, seeing people that they know or they may not know. You'll get to meet some of the people who are representing these organizations
Yes.
that are sponsoring this. At a historic neighborhood school, LH Williams. So if you have a situation where you know you've got something hanging over you, a case, a charge, and you want to get some help with it, then you will attend this expungement clinic. Patrick is sharing some information where he says that most misdemeanor convictions are eligible for expungement, but an individual can seek expungement for a maximum of 2 separate misdemeanor convictions. Serious felony convictions, such as armed robbery and aggravated stalking, are not eligible because we know there are some that are not eligible for expungement. But once you seek information on this, you can find out whether the situation that you have is eligible for expungement.
Right. We also will have a voter registration table there. So
Absolutely.
always trying to get people registered.
That's
to
right.
vote.
That's right. If you aren't registered, you can't help solve our problems. You can't help do anything but sit back and talk and be a part of that group of folks who don't ever do what they could do for their people and for this community. So we want to welcome Pastor Lisa. And Patrick Davis reminds us that our poverty rate in Bibb is 25%. And that's going to be one of the statistics that we're going to talk about as far as folks having the nerve to sit up and want to increase the fares for Macon Transit. It's awful. you pay the money in taxes. That money that goes to Atlanta, that money that goes to our tax commissioner's office here in Macon Bibb, that money that goes to the federal government in Washington, that's your money that you pay in every time you pay whatever kinds of taxes. And don't ever let anybody tell you you don't pay taxes. Everybody pays some taxes in one form or another. Might have a different name, could be property, could be uh, uh, um,
Avalon
ad
tax
valorem,
on taxes.
whatever. You pay some
Yeah.
taxes
Sales
and
tax.
sales tax, and your money goes to keep government going. And that money that comes back here is for the benefit of the folks who sent it there to begin with. So don't ever let anybody make you feel like that you aren't paying for the services that you're getting. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a few minutes. But Mr. White is here to invite you to meet him, meet all of us on Saturday at 10, from 10 until 2. You can just show up
Yes.
if you have questions about this, or if you want to ask in person whether you're eligible or not. But if you want to do it in advance, I'm going to have a copy of that flyer, and I'll have
Yes, ma'am.
the uh, URL, the that on the page, and people can utilize that
Yes.
in registering for this. I attended your expungement clinic that you had at the church on Pursley Street. You had it last year. It
Yes.
was wonderful. It was well organized. There were a lot of people there. One lady was in tears because she had had a case hanging around her neck for a long, long time, and she got it all cleared up, and she was just in tears because she
Yes.
said, "Now I can go ahead and do some of the stuff that I've wanted to do, that I've hesitated doing." So y'all take this thing seriously. This is an opportunity for you, free of charge, to see all of these different entities pulled together to help you. So we just want to see you. We want to see you there. If you need to register to vote, stop by. If you need other information, stop by.
You know, like you were saying, is that stop by because you don't know whether you're eligible or not. And once you get there, they're willing to help you. But most of all, I want to remind you of this. There will be no police presence, no police presence. So that you don't have to worry about, am I
Right,
going to get locked
right,
up? They
right.
pull my record and then I got this. No, don't worry about that. Just come on down, show up. And then anything that we can do to help and assist you in that, it's our personal duty to do that, right? We've committed to do that. These organizations, Black Voters Matters, Helping Others Foundation of Georgia, and A. Philip Randolph Institute, we are personally committed to do that, to help and assist.
hmm Patrick has posted a link to an article, Georgia's new record clearing law, which also assists organizations such as yours in expungement, in clearing records. Because a lot of times people have that hung over their head and they never clear it up. They're always afraid. And so this is an opportunity for you. If you have questions, if you want to get more information, I'm going to have some additional information on the in the chat here with this particular program, and you're welcome to go back and review the program, and then also go to the chat and pull off those sites that you can go to get information that you need. We want people to be prepared. In this day and age, you need to remove all barriers that you can. Um, we have Evangelist She or Shy watching from Botswana. Um,
Welcome.
that yeah, welcome. That is great. That's great. Now tell us one more time about what this is, the location, the hours, and who's going to be there.
Yes, this is an expungement clinic. Opportunity for you to clear any misdemeanors, some felony charges from Peach, Crawford, and Bibb County. It takes place at L.H. Williams School at 325 Pursley Street, Macon, Georgia. You can be there, show up hours between 10 and 2. All right, we definitely like to see you there. We have voter registration, we have food, and we also have a DJ
Hmm.
on the scene.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm. So you've got, a full day of activities, things you can come and take care of your business. You can have your family members, your
Yes.
children there, and you can take care of this most important business of expungement, getting your life in order. Is Overseer Mabel Randall on the line?
Am.
Overseer, are you
I'm the
there?
commissioner. I am. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, we can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to thank you so much for how you fought in the meeting on yesterday and then how you reported with the East Side meeting. And this is why we need people like you in office who will take a stand for people who don't know how to fight or don't know what to say. So I just want to commend you for doing the things that you do for your district and your people.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so very much. Um, I've been blessed, and I think I owe it to this community to give back.
Uh-huh. All right. And
So,
I certainly hope that it made a difference.
well, we still have some things that we've got to deal with. And we're going to continue working. As a matter of fact, for the Macon Transit Authority, I was so shocked on yesterday because there was some confusion as to whether they knew that they had voted to increase the fares or not. They told me, no, we didn't vote to increase the fares. We voted to start the process. Well, I got a copy of the minutes, and in the minutes of January 31st, it stated that they took a vote. And so I'm just wondering, who was in the room? Were y'all, were y'all awake when, y'all took the vote? And it talks about who made remarks in support of the increase and how it was necessary and all of this stuff. And so I hope that they have gotten a refresher on that. But I'm joining with the NAACP and several other organizations, and we are having a news conference down in front of Terminal Station on Friday morning at 11 o'clock. And we're inviting all of you who aren't scared, who believe that we need to keep these fares with Macon Transit where they are. If you will meet us there in front of Terminal Station at 11 a.m. on Friday morning, we're going to have a news conference. And we're going to say to Macon Transit, no, we demand that you not increase the fares on these poor people. And we're also going to look at some other things of concern. Macon Housing Authority is another area, organization of concern that we have. And so we are connecting with Black Voters Matter. We're connecting with the NAACP. I will be there as a commissioner. We're inviting anybody else who's an elected official to show up to support any citizen, anybody who just feels like you're being done wrong, that there's a conspiracy to come after poor and oppressed and black and brown folks. You need to show up at 11 o'clock in front of Terminal Station. The one has the colored written all over the top, up there, where we should get the Nancy Hank and, and all that. The Macon, the terminal station at 11 o'clock. We'll be there for a short time, but we're going to announce our plans for trying to make a difference in this community. And I think if we never took a stand before, we certainly need to take a stand on this.
Be
Um,
there.
I, Mr. White is going to be there. Did you
Okay,
have
well, I will
other?
put it on my calendar.
All right. All right. We can
All right.
always
Thank you
depend on
so
you.
much.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Bye bye.
Okay. On yesterday, Mr. White, and we're going to come back to you
Okay.
in a minute to announce again the details on that because that's very important. But on yesterday, I addressed the Macon Transit Authority. And welcome, Reginald Singletary. We're glad to have you there. And Dr. Butler, thank you for joining us. I stated that I wanted to thank them for the opportunity to speak to them and ask that they reconsider their decision to increase the fares on the Macon Transit riders. I also thanked the membership of the Macon Transit Authority for their service to the community. Those members are Lynn Farmer, who is the head of Leadership Macon, Dave Dickey, who uses public transportation. He's one who's an advocate for safety on the streets. Rachel Umana, who is vice chair of the Pedestrian Safety Review Board that I'm a member of and initiated the legislation. She is also the executive director of Bike Walk Macon. Willie Charles Murphy, Mr. Murphy, a retired educator and a caterer. He is a member of the Macon Transit Authority. Otis Redding III is a member of the Transit Authority. And I'm reading off these names just in case you know any of these folks. And you can, of course, contact them and ask them their position on the fare increase. If they are in support of it, ask them to oppose it. Deborah Garcia, who's the newly appointed member on the Transit Authority, and Mr. Frank Lewis Tompkins, who is a longtime educator who has done an awful lot in this community. He's worked with AARP and he's worked with Bib retired educators and Georgia retired educators. He was also a member, he served for one term on the Macon City Council. And he's the one who initiated the legislation to set up Macon as an age friendly community. And Mr. Tompkins serves as the chair of the Macon Transit Authority. But what was disturbing to me on yesterday was that there was some confusion as to whether they had voted to increase the rates or not. And I couldn't understand a body that where they were nominated and confirmed by the commission, mayor and commission, how they didn't know whether they had voted to approve the fare increases or not. And so I got a copy. I asked them for a copy of the last three sets of minutes. Mr. Dickey was sitting at the table and he handed me his latest copy of the minutes that the board had recently approved. And item number 9 on these minutes, right here, it's 3 pages. Um, Item number 9 is entitled Increase Bus Fares from 125 to 175, and it has in parentheses vote, which means they took a vote on it. So I did not understand why they did not understand that they had voted on it. And so it goes on for about 3 paragraphs with an explanation, I'm assuming from Craig Ross, who is the CEO, of why they needed to increase the fares. The reasons that I see that they should not increase the fares are as follows. Macon has a poverty rate of over 25%. There are about 20% of Macon's residents who don't have a car. We get around, we go get in our car, and it takes us maybe 11, 12, 20 minutes to get to our place of employment. For a person who has to ride the bus, it takes them upwards of an hour to get to work and then an hour coming back. Um, Macon's homeless population is huge. And many of the folks who are classified as homeless are families, and they depend on public transportation. There are usually 300 to 400 children who are homeless, as described in the school system, who are homeless, food deprived, unhealthy, and are in foster care in our community, who depend on public transportation. And some people were insinuating that it's just a little raise and we haven't increased it in 15 years. I don't care if it's been 100 years since you increased it. We still have a over 25% poverty rate. The income for Black families is half of what the wealth is, the overall family wealth is half what it is for white families in Macon-Bibb County. Your life expectancy is lower depending on the zip code that you live in. If you live in '04, 106, and there are a couple of others, your life expectancy is 10 years less because of health conditions, living conditions, than it is if you lived in 31210 or 31204. Some of the
216.
yeah, one yeah,
16.
16. Many cities, and this was interesting information, and I provided all of this in my 5 minutes that I had to speak to the Macon Transit Authority. Many cities are moving to free transit. Washington, D.C. City Council just voted to provide free transportation on their transit system. And many, many other cities are doing that as well, free. Because you remember all of that money that the Biden administration got approval for that's been coming back to our community. Macon Bibb got 77, I think it was 77 million alone, plus additional monies. The Transit Authority got at least 6 or 7 million additional dollars for, and they decided, I guess, to buy more buses, or they have hired a new person to work there. And my question is, did you make those decisions and then you saw that you needed a little more money, so you decided you were going to increase the fares? That is not fair. Not fair. Um, Now, as I was saying, many cities are moving to free transit in light of the millions of federal dollars that are now flowing into our communities. And I referred to the article on Washington, D.C., and some other cities. Pastor Lisa says, with that many millions, they should not raise the fares, and we agree. Um, Patrick has included on in the chat an article on free public transit. And Zantian Cotton has joined us. Welcome. I wish that you could have attended the Macon Transit Authority meeting last night, because after we had our discussion and I was getting ready to leave, I understand that the executive director said that he hates me, said it out loud. So, um, but I'm not gonna say I love him. I'm never gonna say I hate somebody. It seems like a lot of that spreading around, isn't it?
Yes.
Seems to me that that board ought to reprimand or suspend or terminate or something an executive who makes a remark like that to a sitting commissioner who, by the way, approves an allocation of a lot of taxpayers' money every year to Macon Transit Authority. So I'm just saying. Pastor Lisa says she hates what he did.
Don't hate
Yeah,
him, but
don't
hate what he did.
hate the yeah, yeah. Um, Patrick says, what if there's a Democratic mayoral candidate run on free transportation as an issue? Um, I don't know. I really don't know. Patrick, I don't think you can run on one issue. You can't be a one issue person because I think there's so many issues. But I think that this is an issue that someone needs to come up with a solution to. And with all the millions of dollars that have come into this community that we're spending on crime prevention and other kinds of things, it seems to me that we could pull that money out of those millions. And if the transit authority can justify that they really need that money, that it's absolutely necessary to have it, we could use some of that money so that we would not increase the fares on poor people, on poor people. So, Zantian says, as long as someone, did I did I miss his? Yeah, it's I'll get back to you. I think Wade is Wade Horton who was there, and Wade, are you there?
I am. How you doing?
Okay, Wade Horton is one of those who attends the Transit Authority meetings. He's been attending for years and years and telling us, coming to the commission and telling us what a jacked up operation that it is. He has been telling us how they discriminate against folks, how they don't want to provide for him. He uses paratransit, and he had to I think, threaten a lawsuit in order for them to provide the services. Wade, welcome to Ask
Yes, ma'am.
Elaine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I really appreciate you being there last night. Your support means the world. And people that don't know you, you have a heart for the people.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Well,
it
I
shows.
do. We owe it to people that we say we're going to represent.
And
So,
sometimes
what's your
people,
thinking?
well, last night, the CEO, Mr. Craig Ross, stated that they were going to raise the, the fees for the fixed route to 175, and that would include one transfer. Basically, you're not raising the rate for the fixed route because the rate for the fixed route right now is $1.25, and if you get a transfer, it's 50 cents. So they're not having a raise, but because you're putting that 50 cents on the front end, now you're going to the federal law that says you can raise paratransit fees up to double, but no more than. So his goal was not to raise the fees on fixed route. It was to raise it on poor and disabled people who ride paratransit because that fee will be going from $2.50 to $3.50. And again, let me stress this. The fee for fixed route is $1.25 with a 50-cent transfer fee. The transfer fee will not be in effect anymore because you will get one transfer with that $1.75, a free
Mhm.
transfer. And if you want an additional transfer, that is 25 cents. So you're, in essence, you're not raising the fee on the fixed route, but you're wording it so that you can raise the fee on paratransit.
Right,
That is
right,
wrong.
right.
Sure.
Tricky.
Hmm.
Tricky. But did you notice that they had a new position, Wade?
Oh, yes. It's been reported that they had raised it, the rate, they had voted on it, and that it was going to take effect in July. And he also stated previously that they didn't have to have a public hearing prior to the vote. what's the purpose of a public hearing if you're not going to listen to the
Exactly.
people before you make the decision? And then when I get there and I see that on the agenda it says proposed uh, pay fare increase. What
Hmm.
is that? You just reported that it was a increase.
Right. And the
It's just a lot
reporter,
of
the
stories are being
newspaper
told. That's
reporter
not
was
true.
there and agreed that they had voted to increase the rates, but they insisted they had not. I don't know whether
Okay.
we were in La La Land or whether they were in La La. I don't know who was, but I left there confused.
Somebody sleep at the
And
wheel.
I did too.
Yep.
And I don't think I think the board members had to be confused because they don't know what they voted on, evidently, or somebody's trying to pull the okie dokie.
Well, that's the
Either
problem with these different boards with folks getting appointed to them, and you have an administrator who handles everything, tells them what he wants them to know, and then they go along with it. So, Maria is right. More citizens need to attend all the board meetings for Board of Elections, Board of Education, Housing, Water Board, and others so we know what's going on and we can voice our opinion.
and Ms. Lucas, for a certain member to say that they didn't say low income and most of the people that ride are low income and
Hmm.
do not have vehicles, and it's clearly in the articles. Anyone who needs to Google the cheapest ride in Macon, Georgia is getting more expensive, you can look down and you will see where Lewis Thompson said that most of our riders are low income and do not have vehicles. And he swore me down in a minute. I was out of line because I said something that wasn't true that was printed in the paper. Now,
Yeah.
maybe he needs to go back to the reporter and get a retraction if that's not his statement.
Well, the reporter agreed with us because she was there at that last meeting when they voted. And so when we looked over at her and said, did they not vote to increase the rate? She shook her head, yes, they did. Because she was there, and then we looked back at them and was like deer in headlights. What are we doing? People have got to pay more attention,
Right.
more attention. But I have talked with the board members, the majority of them, and I have asked them to please look at reconsidering this. And in one-on-one conversation, they have said that they are in agreement with discussing it more. So at least that, that's a good sign. But we will still, Wade, have our press conference in conjunction with the NAACP and Black Voters Matter and some other organizations on Friday morning at 11 in front of Terminal Station downtown. And we're
Okay.
going to outline what we plan to do. Sometimes you have to go back to the old landmark. Years ago, we
Oh,
had a we had a boycott. We had a number of things going on. People didn't play back then because they were serious about their rights. We are serious about this too. I've never been more serious in all my life that it is unconscionable that people with the economy the way it is and the poverty rate and all of this, that people would dare sit there on those cushioned chairs that we pay for, that you all pay for, that every bus rider helps to pay for, and they would vote to increase the fare that you pay. It to me, it is just the ultimate in disrespect. So
okay.
we've got to do
And Ms.
something
Lucas,
about it.
let- I'm gonna go in a minute, but let me stress this too. Uh, the law governing uh, how you can charge paratransit fees says that you cannot charge more than double. And the reason that was is because a lot of agencies, like the Macon Transit Authority is trying to do now, is taking advantage of poor and disabled people who had to take public paratransit. And the law says you can't charge double. It doesn't say what you can charge. you don't even have to charge double. You can charge the same as everybody else, but it says you cannot charge double. And there was a statement that Mr. Ross made that said you have to charge double. That's not true. We are receiving, they have, because of the COVID, they have received over $7 million in American Rescue money.
Uh-huh.
And many of the agencies use that money for free rides for their people, reduced rides, and all of them said during this time raising is out of the question.
Yeah.
So my question is, what did they do with the money? Yes, we got 1 month around Christmas that was free rides for everybody.
Uh-huh.
Out of $7 million 1 month, and
Yeah.
you justify raising these fees. And I addressed you guys at city commissions a little while ago, and they were talking about raising and giving free rides to veterans, all veterans. And I said, can you afford that? And then eventually they didn't make it for all veterans. They made it for 65 and above. And
Yeah.
I said, we are going to come back, and you're going to see the poor and disabled are going to have to pay more money for these free rides for veterans. I don't have a problem with free rides for veterans. I would have been a veteran myself if my vision would have allowed me to do that. But many veterans are in better shape than the people that I see riding, just like the lady I told you about last week who was riding, who was on a cane. She had a stroke, and she now has dialysis. Well, she went to dialysis. And when the bus pulled up to pick her up, she said, I don't have no money, so the bus had to pull off and leave her. She was more
No.
concerned with getting to the dialysis center to get her treatment, and I worry about getting home later. That's what people are being forced to do. And I'm sorry I took up so much time, and I am
Oh,
going to
no, that's
sign.
very important. Thank you for calling. We always want to hear from you. And I want to thank you for being at that meeting yesterday and for speaking out on this. This is just travesty. It's a travesty. By the way, did you hear a comment that the director made at the end of the meeting concerning me?
Yes, I did.
What was the comment?
That he doesn't like you.
Now that wasn't what I I was told he said.
that that was the nice way.
What exactly were his words?
Well, it was a little muffled, but it did have a little hate in it. That he said,
Oh, so he said he did say, as was reported to me, that I hate her.
right as you
Uh,
were going out the door. Yeah.
He would say it as I was going out the door, wouldn't he? And going down those stairs on either side of that conference room that is not handicap accessible.
Well,
So,
you are absolutely right. And I remember this guy that used to come there. He was in a wheelchair,
hmm
and he would have to come up the elevator to the fourth floor, and then he would have to go around behind the stairwell and get on another elevator that someone staff had to unlock so he can get in because he couldn't walk up those steps, and they would bring him up that way. Which, if
see,
something happened in that building, and that was the only way he had to get out, he would have to wait on somebody to go around to the elevator. But everybody else, we scared. We run out the building, leaving him.
yeah, yeah.
It's not. It's not acceptable. You're exactly
It
right.
it is not, and I made that remark to them and what they need to be doing. I know it's an older building and they probably were allowed to kind of rig up some stuff, but when you have an emergency and you got stuff rigged up, then you're liable for what happens to people. And so, how dare you set up a public hearing in a room like that where what are there, like 20, 25 steps on each side? They're metal steps and narrow metal steps that you have to walk up. And I, it was troubling. It was troubling. So Of course, there are a number of things that need to be done, including if there are any public hearings, they need to be held in some other location. We might need to set up a summit on transportation. That might be something that we need to call for as a result of Friday's public hearing,
I think that would be great.
not public hearing, but Friday's news conference, and we have a public hearing or a summit, and talk about the state of transportation in Macon Bibb County, because there's just too much money that Senator Ossoff, Congressman Bishop, Senator Warnock, and President Biden are sending back into this community for us to have substandard anything. We shouldn't have substandard anything, and it's your money. We want to welcome Reverend Reginald May. Welcome, and Reverend Marvella Ivory. Yes, Marvella, we do need to get together and do a transportation summit, and we need to do it very soon because this is an issue that we need to couple with um, uh, pushing back on these fare increases, the proposal. So we want to welcome the building, Mr. Cotton, that we're talking about is the terminal station. It's the terminal station. Now, would you tell us, Mr. White, remind us of where folks need to come for the expungement clinic on Saturday?
Yes, on Saturday, March the 4th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. L.H. Williams School. You're there at 325 Pursley Street. That is in Macon, Georgia, of course. Some misdemeanors, some felony charges. If you had the offense in Peach County, Crawford County, or Bibb County, you're welcome to come on down. However, Miss Elaine will have some information that you can scan and you can pre-register. If you don't pre-register, come on out anyway. They're willing to work with you, whatever they can do to assist in getting this thing taken care of on your record.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I think it's Gwinnett Westbrooks, who is the local president of the NAACP, is on the line. Gwinnett, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello,
Oh,
everybody.
welcome to Ask Elaine.
Hi, Miss Gwen.
Yes. Thank you all for. I'm not going to be long, but I just was listening to the show, and I want to say that I am so glad that this press conference is going to take place because we're this Macon Bibb is basically in a recession, and we really don't need to be increasing bus fares for anyone.
No, we don't. No, we don't. And the other thing, the SNAP, people who are eligible for the SNAP program, that increased benefits are going to disappear, which means that that increases food insecurity for so many families. And most folks
Yes.
who get this assistance, they need it. They use it.
Right.
So
And
why are you
also the
gonna
cost.
go ahead?
Yeah, and also the cost of housing has increased. So that
Yes.
you're talking about has had a tremendous increase. And we was just at the state capitol on last week trying to get a bill passed to put some changes in the way they're increasing the housing and the put a cap on the way they're doing with the housing. So that has a lot to do with. I'm saying the increase of housing has increased so much people can't even afford to pay rent. So
You're
we have
right.
to take everything in consideration. That raising the bus fare is the wrong timing.
Right.
We're in a
It is.
recession.
It is. And
Yes.
at this summit and at Friday's press conference at 11 o'clock in front of Terminal Station, we are going to share some tidbits of information, some of the same that we shared for the Transit Authority last night, but we're going to share that information. Plus, we're going to have a plan of action because
Right.
this is ridiculous. We cannot stand by and let this happen to people. And we've got to have all of you who are out there listening, we got to have you to get up and get busy, get engaged with what we're trying to do. We need all of you because it's these folks today, but it's you tomorrow. It's us. It's
Right.
all of us in this
That's
together.
right.
So
That's right.
let's take care of other
And we got to
folks.
stop
Let's look
waiting
out.
till stuff just happened to us.
That's right. That's right. It's not affecting me, so I'm not going to deal with it. But we will see you on Friday at 11 in front of Terminal
Okay.
Station for the news conference with the NAACP. And then we will see you on Saturday at LH Williams, historic LH Williams Elementary School from 10 until 2, and with the expungement clinic. Um, Thank you so much for tuning in.
You're
I
welcome.
didn't
Thank you
blow
for
up the
having me.
station or anything. Thank you, Miss Westbrook. They have a sign up in here that says, "Please do not touch," and they should just have my name under that. Elaine, do not touch anything at all. And I don't touch anything. But we want to thank these very fine folks here at WDDO. Thank you to those who have tuned in on AM, FM, those who are on Facebook Live. Y'all keep in touch with us and please take part in making this community a better place. It's where we've got to live, and we've all got a stake in making it better. And we got to look out for other folks. So thank you for tuning in. We will look to see you on Friday at the press conference, on Saturday at the expungement clinic. We also want you to get ready for Cherry Blossom, all those things you help pay for. We want you to get ready for Soul Jam, which is May 28th at Henderson Stadium. Senator will be on here soon to talk about that. So there's lots and lots of stuff going on. We want to finally congratulate Reverend and Mrs. Bumpers for a presentation that they made with the Urban League in Atlanta. We're very proud of them. Y'all go online, go on their Facebook page and check it out. It's wonderful. Thank you, and we salute you. So we'll see you again next Wednesday for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.